The horror. The horror. Yes, it's an Anekantavad video called The Panic. So his theory in this version of, whatever, bobbing for bullshit, is that, you come to a realization about the process of life, like let's say evolution, and you draw a conclusion like precious commodities controlled by crude forces. You maybe envision a snake eating its own tail, some sort of perpetual nonsense. Just nonsense. No purpose, function, nothing. There's just nothing there, okay? Just a molecule fighting with itself to see who can get on top of the pile. And for nothing. And you also do a little tiny bit of physics and you realize the whole thing is going to be burned to a cinder anyway, and it's just a silly growth of a fungus on a planet. It means nothing, it accomplishes nothing, except a bunch of sentient organisms somehow through the process get to calculate how big and fat their asses are, and then fall into this voidy thing. So it's his argument that in the panic of recognizing this horror, going to the Kurtz, he puts Colonel Kurtz in here, the Colonel Kurtz moment, where you're just, you're looking at the little pile of little kid arms that have been hacked off to destroy the infection of the evil one, and you're saying, your reaction to the panic is not to accept that this is the nature of things, that this is the bleak reality. No, in panic, you do exactly that. You believe what you're seeing to be what you're seeing, that this is what it is. It's a sack of shit, and that's what you've been handed. You've walked up to what you perceive as the mansion house, and they've handed you a bag of shit, and you've said, what do I do with that? And your wrong conclusion is to say, oh, it's I live in Prepostria. It's silly, it's stupid, it's dumb, because it doesn't have a brain. Now that's the wrong conclusion. That's reacting out of panic, is to recognize it as the truth and say, well, at least I won't send my kids here. That's the wrong reaction. The right reaction is, the non-panic reaction would be to pretend the truth isn't the truth, pretend the facts aren't the facts, pretend you can't just look in the mirror and see your big fat butt. No, the non-panicked reaction is to make up a big pile of crap and say, I'm Goldilocks, I'm going to go to Red Riding Hood's house and have sex with the 3 pigs. And call yourself what? And pretend you don't have a fat ass and you're not full of shit. Yeah, okay. I mean, it's just, there's so little hope in this atmosphere, right? I mean, this is the Borg. So, I mean, maybe Grey Guy could do me the favor and put a little Borg, put one of them little Borg masky things on him, because this is the Borg right here. This is the Borg. No doubt about it. So anyway, he uses I like the Stephen King. I haven't seen the Stephen King puppet novel or read it or seen the movie or whatever, but maybe I should go see that, where the puppet realizes it's on the strings and it realizes it can never cut the strings, no scissors will cut them, or whatever the exact thing is. Horribly, the strings are everywhere, so you could use like a string theory metaphor, that the strings from your mother's vagina are still hanging off of you. Strings from every interaction you have with somebody is like a goop, like the aliens. Yeah, you're just this mucus monster, and everywhere you go, you touch something, there's these strings of mucus just sticking to everywhere you've ever been and everything you've ever done. Yeah, and we're just being pulled constantly in this sea of mucus strings, just being tugged along to pretend to be I'm pretending to be human. I'm pretending to think, I'm pretending to feel, I'm pretending, and yeah, and you're actually, you know, some of the strings allow you, the Einstein strings and stuff, a little bit of, there's a few little credible, rational strings, and they give you this little glimmer of perception that, holy fuck, I'm being manipulated and controlled by bullshit, and now I can do something about it. But this guy would not take Yoda's advice. No, there is no do. There's just talk bullshit. That's what Yoda would say. yeah, yeah. Just to turn Yoda upside down, right? Yoda wasn't good for much, except for, you know, there is no try. There is do or do not do. Yeah, you can either fail and fuck it up. You have a little bit of hope. You have a little bit of something you can use here. Real brain is, there's a little tiny bit of real thinking going on in there. You know, that was the hole in the matrix, is they left one little room where, you know, if you get in there you can think straight. Not get too distracted by all the blinkety blink. And you know, his thing is no, don't step right into the void and turn around and look and see how big and fat your ass is. No, don't do that. Just pretend the bullshit you're living by isn't bullshit. Well, whatever, enough of a commentary. But this is just, you know, I'm sorry, yeah, it is very, this is the looking into the void right here. Because you're looking right into the eyes, of the lie. The nonsense, the rubbish that just keeps it running. This is the snake after his tail. Gotta catch my tail. I'm gonna catch my tail. I'm gonna eat myself, and then everything will be alright.
Beast posits a structured universe.
Right, so that's an illusion. Don't be fooled by the nonsensical insanity of all the mix of the matter and the photons. There's really the real universe, where everybody's ballroom dancing and everything's okay. He has no evidence of any of that. He just pretends it exists. Yeah, and we're the one reacting badly to the panic. He's the courageous one. He's boldly leaping into preposterous fantasy. What a hero. I mean, wow. He's so brave. Yes, so brave.
I can understand the attraction to that.
So he thinks it's an attractive alternative to the void, which is pretending that it doesn't matter. Right, so he says the void, which is some place where you would look and you'd say, oh, it doesn't matter, no pain, no harm, no meaning, ooh, horror, horror. Well, that doesn't scare me at all. And somehow my alternative theory, that we are being perpetually bored by fucking morons into a silly process of chasing our own tail, and doing it with a bunch of little kid arms in a pile over there, and Marlon Brando's crying. He's saying that, accepting that as reality. You know, that Marlon Brando's crying, and there's a bunch of little arms over there, and we're just fat asses chasing our own duty. But somehow that's a much more, I'm choosing to believe that absolute horror of 4 billion years of mechanical DNA molecules essentially cannibalizing their own children. That perception, I'm running to that because I'm afraid of the nothing. I mean, that's the theory, this fucker. I mean, I have to call him a fucker, a motherfucker. Dog, fucker, same thing in his case maybe. Fuck you. I mean, it's just such a weaselly bullshit move, fuckhead. Jeez. I mean, really.
At least you know what's what.
Oh, yeah, knowing that you're like if you were in the Nazi concentration camp and somebody gave you the whole freaking Nazi blueprint that, well, it started off as really retirement homes, but they decided they were way too expensive, so they decided, well, look, just work them to death till they die because that's the easiest way to kill them. Yeah, that would, that would just pick everybody's mood right up if they knew the truth.
Now, I've had some, excuse me, I've had some interactions with, I don't know if they're ethalists or not, but just, I call them morbid antinatalists.
I hope they call you shit poo. Yeah.
Who have come out and said this, even though they say, no, that's not, Zapfi isn't saying that this is a good thing that we anchor and we distract, it's just...
Yeah, so he does this Zapfi thing all the time. But of course, yeah, I think, I don't know, I'm not familiar, with the volumes or anything like that. But yeah, it's my impression that he's basically just mocking the fact that Zapfi's the one saying the panic reaction, is to make up some kind of purpose in chasing your own tail, some kind of purpose in eating your own shit, to try to make it meaningful. So yeah, you're the one caught up in exactly the predictable panic reaction, which is lie. Start lying. That's what people do when panic sets in. That's what they start doing. They start lying. And you're just as cliche a liar as they come. I mean, you just make this crap up. He just makes up absolute crap. There's absolutely no reason to believe there's any singularity or any function beyond the fact that it's just a stupid replicating molecule. It's just a fungus. And yeah, it has little humans on it going, where's the unicorns? Where's the unicorns? But it's just a piece of fungus with little humans on it going, where's the unicorns? I mean, it's still just fucking shit. It's still shit. And he's the one panicking. I don't want to be a shit. I don't want to be shit. I don't want to be shit. So he's making up a preposterously silly story to evade the fact that he has to recognize. But the mirror says so.
It's just what we do. It's a defense mechanism. But then when you probe them a little bit further, they say, look, we have to have these structures. Otherwise we can't.
They're saying we have to have the structures because they're saying there's there's a truth underlying everything. You're even arguing that there's a truth underlying everything, right? You're pretending that fantasies are truth, but your argument is that if the fantasies are real, then there's a reality to them, and so you have to discuss something in some sort of context. There has to be some rules for a conversation. If all we're going to do is interact with each other by talking about our fantasies, like, I'll just make up a lie. I fucked some bitch with 4 of my 5 penises last night, and she had 7,684,000 orgasms. And if we're just going to talk absolute babble back and forth, well, that's I think we could almost argue that that's more insipid than the snake eating its own tail. I mean, that is just unfunctional. So if you're going to claim that there's no reality and there's nothing to have a conversation about, then you really shouldn't be having conversations, should you? I mean, I guess you're sort of doing that now, though. Your video is now so preposterous that you're basically claiming that that's why you have this whole philosophy of just do whatever you feel, because the idea that it matters is synthetic. So there is no matter, either physical or empirical, meaning-wise, and therefore, if you wish to be an insidious mass murderer, go for it, because none of it makes any difference. And so, I guess in that sense, the nonsense you're saying makes sense. I say the laughable irony is that here you are living in a cartoon world where you're almost suggesting, if you think you can fly, jump out the window. And what are you doing? You're living Joe Jerkoff's mundane, idiotic life where you go outside and say, well, I don't know if I want to shovel the driveway. I think I'll go eat a Pop-Tart instead. I mean, you have every appearance in the description of your mundane, Borgish existence. It has about as much appeal and intrigue as watching a Jimmy D. Cricket porn film. Yeah, so yeah, I find that a little incongruity between what appears to be your lack of a superhero life, okay, and your claim that we're all immune to meaning, and therefore capable of being gigantor. And you choose to be, whatever, bubble butt. So you could be gigantor, and instead you choose to be bubble butt. Sorry, I don't understand.
Talk about anything. Otherwise, the universe is a complete void that is completely and utterly nonsensical and non-graspable.
Right. So nonsensical is somehow worse than snakes eating their own tails. I mean, you can't get any more backwards, evil, nasty than like the cancer tumor that gives cancer tumors cancer. Something like that. I mean, it's the real story is about as bleak can get. It can go as bleak as you want it to. We could be, actually, mammals could have developed some sort of insectide kind of lifestyle. We could have been the aliens in Aliens. We could actually have a class system that was mechanically and physically in our structure, where we actually produced slave babies, food babies, work babies, sex babies. Yes, it could be worse, but not much.
Well, the fact that the universe is nonsensical and non-graspable doesn't make your...
Nonsensical and non-graspable, those two words don't go together. That's called an oxymoron. You can't put the two things next to each other, okay? If we can grasp it, then it can be nonsensical. If you can't grasp it, it quite obviously can't be anything, because you can't understand. You're saying we can't understand reality. We can't understand abiogenesis and evolution by natural selection of a molecule. We can't understand. That's your conclusion. It's not even, I don't think that even is your conclusion. I think that's your lie. That's the lie you would like to sell to the human race because you're part of the Borg and you want to keep the Borg going, or whatever your idiotic notion is. But that's your agenda, that lie, that we can't grasp it. We can't make a telescope. We can't make microscopes. Yeah, we can. Alright, back we are. This is just all so stupid. To have to do this, to have to sit there and this is what we have to do to even get to a starting point, to have a conversation about what we do with our existence. And again, we have to now somehow refute these fabulistic overviews, because no, we can't just go with the basic story. Okay, yeah, the whole story of human, pretty much the whole story is in evolution. Now you want to go back to the entire chemistry evolving in the universe? Well, fine. Yeah, it makes sulfur pits, it makes diamonds, sometimes it makes something like a human. Yeah, we know it did once. But it's just condensation. It's just what molecular matter does. It has the possibility to create different lumps and bumps on stuff. And on planet Earth, the lumps and bumps have fat asses and think they're doing something special. And they don't. They panic when somebody tries to tell them they're not special. And that's the story. Ugh.
Artificial props any less artificial.
So he's calling, right, so he's calling the context of evolution an artificial prop, intended just to make us feel better. So we're just trying to make ourselves feel better because accepting nothingness is just too horrid. So instead, we look at evolution and think about 3.5 billion years of an evolving molecule wiggling through the goddamn absolute shit. True shit. Wiggling through shit. The shit worms. Billions of years of shit worms to comfort ourselves.
We have logic and we have reason and we have philosophy and we have our cognitive faculties and all this kind of thing.
We have microscopes and telescopes and radiometers. I don't know what they call the things. You know, to tell you how old something is. But yeah, we have lots of shit, fuckhead. Lots of good tools.
Help us deal with reality. But even these things are our own creations.
So if we make a hammer, it's not a hammer. You know, we make penicillin, it's not penicillin. It doesn't really kill microbes. Telescopes aren't seeing things further away. That hasn't been demonstrated by reliable, duplicated experimentation. I mean, that experiment's only been duplicated about 7 zillion times, and the results have always been the same. Gee, no reliably there. That's not a reliable tool.
The very fact that...
Remember, the only reason why he's saying our tools are broken is because he knows we made mirrors, and he knows in the mirror he's got a big fat ass.
We've evolved these things doesn't make them real. The very fact that they don't ultimately describe reality the way it actually is...
There we go. They don't ultimately describe reality the way it really is, because he's been there. He's been to Goldilocks' house, and he knows it's there because he was there, and he had a cocktail, and, there was a 17-tentacled Martian there, too, but, he didn't take that too seriously. What about reptilians? Were there reptilians there?
No fault of reality. It's a fault of our tools.
Right. So again, we can't know anything. We can't know. It's all mystery. Hope is in the... Yes, hope is alive. Faith, delusion, fable, wish, myth. Yeah, it's all open season because we can't know anything. I hate this slimatorium.
The very fact that maybe all of our means of coping with reality, all our means of coming to terms with this great void are inadequate is more of a reflection on our tools than on the
So it's our bad tools that don't enable us to make something out of the snake eating its tail. So it's a tool problem. It really makes sense. It's just that we're looking at it with a clear piece of glass, and we need to distort it and pink it up, and then you'll see that the snake is really going to the singularity, and it's missing the tail entirely.
The ultimate nature of reality. You can't say that we've got to assume that reality is a certain way, otherwise it won't make any sense at all. Because
you have to assume that reality is a certain way. Well, we're just arguing that what's the point of having a conversation if you're not going to be bound by any rules? None. Zero. You're going to deny evolution, deny telescopes, deny microscopes, deny all evidence that points to condensation through crude forces. You're just going to pretend there's some other mechanism involved, and we're supposed to say, what? That makes sense? No. How can I possibly say that makes sense? How can I possibly tap dance on the head of that pin? And that's what he's just holding up this pin. He's saying, tap dance on it. It's okay. I've done it.
Because you still don't know whether or not you've actually gotten reality correct. you still don't know whether or not you've come to terms with Zopfi's panic.
Again, tongue comes to terms with it. Well, how do you come to terms with it? Except by just acknowledging the fact that this is the world we exist in. This is what was made, and we have it. We do have the one thing left to us, which is a choice to force somebody to be another member of the gang. I mean, it's the only power we have is to do the future the benefit of our realization. And you just want to force them to be in exactly the situation I'm in, where I can't undo. So I'm just stuck with trying to get somebody to undo tomorrow. And you little assholes are just going to keep making the mess. Fuck.
That terrible moment of crisis where you see the void and there is nothing in the cosmos except you and the void.
Again, I don't know. Where? Why would this description of void bother me?
That is the most primal of primal horrors.
Says him, right? Watching your kid get run over by a steamroller, that wouldn't be a primal horror. No, that's no problem. I could do that every day. Void. Ooh, having to look at the void. Ooh, can't do that. What is this mush?
Compared to being in that state, ephilism is preferable.
Yeah. So it says he. So again, let's just have context. Imagine a universe with no planet Earth in it, no suffering, no harm, just mechanical universe swirling around, stuff banging into each other, no sentience being ground up in it. That's horror. And the idea of 3.5 billion years of worms wiggling through shit, going ouch, and a bunch of little kid arms over there, and squish kids from steamrollers. That is fun. That's how you escape. That's a great fantasy. And we're, in our panic, facing the void, we're wishing for and hoping for the wonderful truth of dismal waste. What? I'd rather argue with reptilians, believers in reptilians. This is just so. Why even speak a common language? What's the point? Why even invent language? No point.
That's what I think is at work here. Again, it goes to, I guess, a certain sort of negative determinism where there's no...
Negative determinism. I mean, does that make any sense to you people? I mean, does it really make any sense to you people? Negative cause and effect. I mean, what do you do with that? Oh, that it's intrinsically that dumb things usually do dumb things? Oh, is that it? Yeah, that's the catch. Yeah. That smart is the rare thing and that dumb is the common thing. That crude is the common thing. Sophisticated is the rare thing. Oh, yeah. So believing that it's harder to have something sophisticated and nuanced and well-made than it is to have something badly made, sloppily made, simplistically made, and uselessly made. So the idea that I actually believe that, yes, the more functional things, the more efficient things, the more precise and precision things are harder to get to than the shit that comes out of your ass. Oh, I have broken the rules by logically drawing that conclusion. Fuck.
Good to be had in this universe. There is only bad to be escaped from.
Yeah, well, it is a dilemma. That's right. You have to create a mouth before you can put something in it. It's that kind of catch, and then you're stuck with the crap coming out the other end. Fuck.
There's no counter void. There's just the void. That big black hole of nothingness that goes on forever. That we're
Again, the nothingness, the scary nothingness, the big nothing with its big nothing teeth and its big horrible nothing breath and its big awful nothing voice and its big nothing nothingness. Scary, scary.
staring at it. There is no mirror image of that that is positive, that is good, that is desirable, that is pleasant, that is peaceful.
Yes, desirable. You should just stop at the word desirable, because right there you should say to yourself, oh, that's the catch here, isn't it? You have to have a desire engine. You have to have an agenda engine. You have to have something that creates need, to have something needed. Oh, that's what breaks the game, isn't it? Yeah, we're back to mouth ass again.
Calm. Whatever terms you care to use, that doesn't even exist. The only thing of value is escape from the void.
No. Stop wasting. Don't make waste. The void, there is no void, but the reality is there's waste in the universe. That's the reality. You don't want waste, you stop making it. We make the waste. The shit is us.
So if you create a logical structure that looks pretty horrific, and you wonder, or someone else does this, and you wonder why on earth they would embrace this model. Remember how negative utilitarianism works. It's not about anything good. It's about escaping badness.
So again, he's saying that to escape the scary nothing, we have invented a horrible, dismal Borg story of untollable suffering, squandered and pissed away, mountains and mountains of little kid arms to comfort us.
And I can see how someone who sees the universe in those terms would find something appealing in morbid antinatalism. They might agree with Schopenhauer or whomever, Mahavira of the Jains, I don't know. The universe is simply something to be escaped from. Although the Jains, to my understanding, at least say that however hard, nigh on impossible it is to reach some sort of state of bliss, it is.
Your state of bliss is totally irrelevant. Your bliss will not fix somebody else's pain, so it's of no meaning. So any asshole chasing their own bliss, their own individual bliss, is about as much of a puppet as you can get. You can't get being more of a puppet chasing your own bliss.
As possible. But the universe is, there's absolutely nothing of value here at all. The only...
Well, whatever. What the hell do you buy the nothing for its birthday? What do you give the old nothing as a birthday present? What possible thing? Oh, I'll give it a shit-making machine that's always hungry and is looking for bliss. Yeah, I'm sure the universe is going to love you for the void. I'll just say, thanks a lot, fucker. You people are just so full of fucking shit. But you're shit, so it's wonderful shit.
Thing to do is to get away from it. I'd say that Gary sort of posits a universe where there isn't even that goal in mind. There's no goodness. There's simply nothing.
No, there's waste. 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 Ers. There's waste and wasters. Yeah, you're both a waste and a waster.
Is the desired goal non-existence? Waste.
Yes. Don't make a need. You don't have to satisfy one. Ah, the horror.
Seem to have two choices in his view of the universe. We live in this horrible swamp of desire and death and blood and urine and mucus and all that kind of thing, this dog-eat-dog gladiator world.
Yeah, just recognize eating your own children effectively and directly. I mean, the deficit isn't a phenomenon that we can't understand, right? Just basically enslaving your own children, turning them into some sort of meat byproduct. Yeah, that's the mechanism.
But we don't exist at all.
You won't exist at all. You didn't exist at all. That's the truth. There's been lots and lots of universe without any of you in it, and it's doing just fine. So yeah, don't waste. No point. Stupid. Profoundly, colossally stupid. You really can't even, just to waste one horror, to waste one packet of horror is horrible.
Others would say that we don't even have that choice because the dog-eat-dog world isn't really the problem. The problem is the terrible void we're staring at.
I don't understand. The plastic, this is like comparing the plastic deer in your yard to a dog fight with real dogs cutting each other's necks open and blood, blood, gush, gush, and chomp, chomp, bones break. Okay, would I rather have dog fight with real dogs or plastic deer in the yard? Doesn't seem a challenging choice.
The existential panic. And even the dog-eat-dog world, I guess, they would say it's preferable to that.
Who would do that? Who but one of you sadistic lunatics. And you're that. You're poo-eating sadistic lunatics.
That, to me, is the appeal of that kind of a point of view. It's not so much that it's a good point of view.
I mean, this isn't even idiocracy. This is crazy motherfuckocracy. I mean, that's where we really live in. Crazy motherfuckocracy. These people aren't just stupid. They're crazy.
It's that it's better than something that its adherents probably have faced. If you've had that moment of existential horror, it's not the kind of thing you're likely to forget anytime soon.
Again, he's saying, recognizing that I have a fat ass and that life is futile, is so horrible that I will accept the truth that I'm really just a worm squirming through shit for no function. Oh yeah. Yeah. Anyway, there's no, how do you make anything out of this? I can't make anything out of this. This is shit. That's why I'm not making anything out of it. You can't make anything consumable out of absolute atomic shit.
I believe it can be coped with, come to terms with. You know, I won't say overcome.
Right, you just make up a fucking lie and live by it. You learn to love your strings. Yes, love your strings.
But I would say that it is something that one can integrate into.
Just like that little Borg mask. You just integrate. Yeah. Fuck you.
A larger world view or larger philosophical point of view.
Yeah, larger. Hope, love, faith, fantasy.
Just because the void is real, in other words, and inevitable, and crushing, and terrifying, it doesn't
Again, void. The word void is, he's describing void as a horror. Do you understand that? I can't understand that.
automatically follow that that's all there is. That, too, could be an illusion.
Not two, could be an illusion. Everything could be an illusion. So let's not take anything seriously because everything could be an illusion. And if it's not an illusion, then we should have taken it seriously, but too bad. So if it's not an illusion, we should have taken it seriously, and we didn't. But if it is an illusion, then we probably should have taken the illusion seriously. Yeah, I still don't see how you win. Oh yeah, that's right, you don't. He's just pretending. Oh, he's pretending it's all going to work out. And they all lived happily ever after. La 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 la. Not in the void. Somewhere else. Oh, crazy. Crazy, 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 crazy. So anyway, it's just so depressing. Sorry, but it's just, you're just like, oh, this is so depressing. This is so fucking depressing. It's like, I don't know. It's like talking to Muslims.